So what would you upgrade to 4K? What films do you feel are worthy of an upgrade? Because I'm going through this process of not actually wanting to upgrade too much from Blu-ray to 4K. Only a select few titles. And that gets me looking at my shelves, looking at the films that are on these shelves and making a judgment call on whether I'd actually upgrade this film to 4K or not. So join me on this while we look at another, however many films sit on a shelf. Let's do it. Okay, so for me, doing this video series is kind of a sort of support network kind of a thing, because seriously, the constant upgrading, VHS to DVD, well, Laserdisc in between as well, VHS, Laserdisc, DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, it's got to stop somewhere. And, you know, we're in a time now, an era now where I think we're kind of being made mugs of. I think that we're all in this kind of a just this mindset of upgrade for no other reason than upgrading. You know, and to me, I want to step out of that. I want to step away from it. And just be happy with what I've got. That's not to say that I won't pick up 4Ks moving forward. New films that come out, I certainly would. In some cases, just the Blu-ray will suffice. And there's going to be cases where there are certain films where I think, you know what, I want to upgrade that film to 4K. I will upgrade that or get a special collector's set of it, and I will get it. And doing this video gets me to look at some of these titles and sort of say to myself, yes and no now before anything ever comes. And then when it comes, I've got a list of that didn't make the list kind of a situation. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, we're going to do it here and now. Now, some of these titles may already have 4K upgrades. I don't know. They may be there on the shelf and I'm not aware of it. I don't mean on my shelf. I mean in the shops, and I'm not aware of it. And it's just they've passed me by. And in that, obviously, I doubt I need to upgrade them. So let's begin with some of these titles here. So first one's an interesting one because it is a big kind of special effects extravaganza movie. Two of them, in fact. And it is Tron 1 and 2, Tron Legacy. I know there's another Tron film on the way. Now, Tron is one of these funny films for me because visually they are fantastic. They're fantastic films. You know, the speeder bike things that they've got, whatever you want to call them, the light bikes, light cycles, you know, and that first Tron film I think looks great. You know, I like it. It's got a charm to it, a charm. Now, for me, I would say that visually speaking, both these films would benefit from 4Ks. I think they certainly would. I think that a nice, crisp version of the first Tron film would look fantastic. Cleaned up, pristine, no grain. I mean, I haven't watched these films for some considerable time, so I can't really say how they look as a, you know, visually on Blu-ray. It's been some time, but I imagine Tron is quite grainy, the first one, and could benefit from a clean. That being said, they're not films that I visit very often because whilst they look fantastic and the premise is great, I really like the premise, I do think that they do border rather boring. Especially the second one looks great, some great special effects, but it's quite a drag of a movie, which is unfortunate, really. But yeah, so I'm on the fence. I would consider the first one most definitely. I'm sure visually the second one would benefit as well. However, we've got a half and half scenario going on here, so I would say yes. But being Disney, I don't think it's ever going to happen. I don't think we'll see these ever hit 4K. So, but it would make the list. The first one would make the list. Moving on. Another Disney film, actually, and it is George Clooney, Tomorrowland, A World Beyond. Now, I'll be honest, I quite enjoyed this film when I watched it. I know that it flopped at the box office. I know that it kind of gets slated. I can't remember it very well. I watched it when it came out, I bought it, and I haven't visited it since. And that's part of this video. When did I last watch these films? So this one, I can tell you, I haven't watched this film since it came out. Shortly after it came out, around the time it hit physical media. The Tron films, again, they've been some time. I'd have watched this one around the time that came out, and not since. So again, you know, given that amount of time having passed, does it warrant an upgrade? And that's the other thing that I'm toying with in my mind. Does it warrant it based on time viewed? I mean, certainly with... Actually, I'd probably take a risk on Tron, the first one, because I'm pretty sure in my mind that is a bit grainy. But anyway, Tomorrowland, no, I wouldn't consider that as upgrade material. Next up, we have the movie Troll Hunter. Nice lenticular there. Norway makes some decent films. This is Norwegian, isn't it? I believe, as I recall, because you got the other one as well. But anyway, so, you know, yeah, I've watched it a few years ago. Can't really remember too much. I wouldn't upgrade it. Yeah, I wouldn't. So at the moment, we've sat with just one first Tron film. Next one. See, I pick up things like this, and it reminds me of when I first, or those early days of Blu-ray, you know, the first few years and that sort of a thing. And it is Nicolas Cage and Nicole Kidman in Trespass. I'll be honest, I've not watched it since I've had it. I've not watched it. So we know the answer to that one with regards to a upgrade. Now, I'm going to put this next one onto one side, because I really want to give this film a rewatch, okay? Because it has been a long time, I can tell you that. And it is Tropic Thunder. Ben Stiller, Robert Downey Jr., Jack Black. Why has Jack Black got top billing? Oh no, on the front he has. On the back, Ben Stiller has. Yeah, this was a good film. This was a good film. And Ben Stiller is not apologetic for it at all, which is great. I'm going to watch that. I'm going to put that in the rewatch pile. As for a 4K, I've not watched it for 10 years. You know, or 10 or more. No, more than 10 years. I've probably not watched that. I've not watched that. I can tell you now, I've not watched that since about 2012 onwards. Okay. I know that based on where I've moved, where I've lived and things like that. I can ascertain when I last watched. So I haven't watched it in that long. So that begs the question, would I buy a 4K after rewatching it now? Because last thing I'd want is to buy it again and just have another film that's sat on a shelf for that amount of time unwatched. It would make more sense to me to consider buying it on 4K when I wanted to rewatch it again and thusly save a lot of money. But in turn, then I'm adding to the decline of physical media, because I'm not buying it from the initial marketplace at full value. I'm buying it probably on the second-hand marketplace cheap. Money don't go anywhere. Yeah, it's one of those dilemmas, isn't it? Anyway, next up is Tremors 3. Now, the reason I'm not showing Tremors 1 and 2 is because I do have the Arrow collector's set. I have the 4K for Tremors 1 collector's set. I think my Tremors 2 collector's set, I just went with the Blu-ray because, to be honest, I think that when Arrow does a release and it's a 4K transfer and you've got the 1080p Blu-ray 4K, if that makes sense, the Blu-ray that's got a 4K transfer on it as a Blu-ray, there's not a great deal in the copies. So I just went with the standard Blu-ray on that one. Now, Tremors 3 and Tremors 4 are kind of interesting. I'll do both of them together. Tremors 3 and Tremors 4 are both interesting to me because I like this era of Tremors film, all right? I know these were straight-to-video films. You know, what are the chances of Arrow following up, giving these special editions? I don't know. You don't know, do you? They might get them. And I'll be honest, I would consider picking these two up, upgrading these two titles to maybe not 4K itself, but the Blu-ray versions, if they'd done them similar to the other, just in keeping with those sets. Because, you know, I really like this one. I think it's great. This one goes back to Western times as an origin story, and I have a lot of fun with them. You know, so I would consider them too. I'm going to put them down there, so that I can go through what I've, you know, make that list at the end. And then we have Tremors 5 Bloodlines. Now, for me, this is a different era of Tremors. It feels like, you know, a lot of time had passed between Tremors 4 and Tremors 5, right? And it's like you got a new trilogy of Tremors, where you get Tremors 5, you had Tremors 6, A Cold Day in Hell that kind of offered a snowy setting, which you didn't give you that. And then still sealed, interestingly, we have Tremors Shrieker Island, which is the final Tremors movie in which the character of Michael Gross, spoiler alert, passes away, gets killed at the end. So that's kind of like a sort of follow-up trilogy to the first four for me, and most definitely not worth anything more than how I've got them. But as a franchise, I quite enjoy them. I do have the Tremors TV series. I know there was a complete box set that came out of all these, and you had the TV series in on DVD. I didn't have that. I had the TV series on a solo DVD prior to that release. It's a Region 1 DVD, came out some time ago. So I do have that. But yeah, so those ones there are a no-go. But certainly 3 and 4, I have a lot of fun with them. But I don't expect that to ever come to pass. But there we go. So next up, from Universal, yeah, Ivan Reitman film, Twins, with Arnie and DeVito. Now, you think that this possibly would get a 4K at some point. It's quite a high-profile movie. It's an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. I'm sure they'd get sales of this if they'd done a 4K. I watched it a few years ago, I think, when I picked this up. I did buy it. I did watch it after I bought this. It wasn't brand new purchase. It's a film that I had on VHS. I don't believe I ever picked it up on DVD, though. I've never seen Junior. I've never watched Junior. However, I don't think that, for me, that film would warrant a 4K. It's not a special effects, spectacular kind of movie. It's just a comedy, and I really don't understand comedies being put to 4K. The value, the worth in them being put to 4K. You know, yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, things could change if I fell back and watched some of these films and I thought to myself, you know, that 4K had come out, I let it go past me by, and I watched some of these films and they were a horrendous transfer, like does happen at times. You do get bad transfers. Then I may consider at that stage, at that juncture. Anyway, next up we have Ticket to Paradise. George Clooney and Julia Roberts. It's a relatively new film. It's still sealed. I watched the film. I bought it when it came out because I actually really enjoyed the film. I thought it was very good. $14.99 I paid for it. Imagine if I hadn't bought it brand new. I haven't watched it since I bought it. I watched it before that. How much could I pick that up for now? A couple of quid? CEX? 3-4 quid? I don't know. Not a lot. Probably have saved a tenner at least. If not more. Obviously not 4K. Not one I'd consider to go 4K. Next up is quite a special effects film, and I bought this cheap. It's still sealed because I haven't rewatched it yet. That is Thunderbirds, the movie. And part of my wanting to pick that up was Bill Paxton. Bill Paxton in it. I think it's a tragedy that Bill Paxton passed away. You know, he was... I like Bill Paxton. You know, who didn't like Bill Paxton? Yeah, I really need to give that a rewatch. It's not going in the rewatch pile yet, but I do need to give it a rewatch at some point. Okay, moving on to the next title. Another lenticular, actually. And it is, again, one of those ones from the early days of... the next two are from the early days of Blu-ray. Brings back memories of where I was at the time, picking up Blu-rays, really being into film and whatnot. And it's Three Musketeers from Paul W.S. Anderson, you know, Mila Jovovich's husband. And, you know, there's no nepotism at play whatsoever. It's not like he cast Mila Jovovich's wife in the film. Oh, no, he did. But, yeah, so it took me a long time to watch this film. I bought it when it came out. And it took me years and years and years to actually think to myself, okay, let's put it in and watch it. And you know what? I thoroughly enjoyed it. I had a real good time. I had a real blast with that film. Probably because I was expecting nothing from it. I was expecting very little from it. And yeah, I found it to be an enjoyable movie. I wouldn't upgrade it. Next up would be this one here. Now, it's a great film. It's a masterpiece. Apparently, that's what it says at the bottom. No, it's a good film. This is a good film. Jeff Bridges, Matt Damon, Josh Brolin. I haven't watched this for some considerable time. And I can tell you now, it's been maybe 12, 13 years since I last watched it. That being said, if this was to get a 4K kind of collector set, I'd be very tempted by it. I'd be very tempted. I need to put that in the rewatch pile. I really do. Obviously, it's got a very young Haley Steinfeld in it, who was great in the film. And I would go as far to say that this is probably better than the original. I'm going to put that in the rewatch pile. Next up, a relatively new film. I watched it when it came out. I picked it up for about £5 in CEX. I've not watched it since. And it is Those Who Wish Me Dead. Still got the stickers on it. Which is the Angelina Jolie, you know, fire film and, yeah, whatnot. And it's got, you know, Punisher guy in it, the new one. Oh, his name's eluding me now. You know, the geezer who plays Bernthal. John Bernthal. And is that thing in it? Taylor Sheridan's in it. Nicholas Hoult is in it. I've never got on with Nicholas Hoult. He doesn't do anything for me. Sorry, no, Taylor. Oh, what am I saying, Taylor? It's Taylor Sheridan's the director. Is it Tyler Sheridan? Is there an actor called Tyler Sheridan? Or am I just being silly? But anyway, it's a Taylor Sheridan movie. And he's quite a big name, isn't he? I've never felt the need to rewatch it since I picked it up. There we go. And then we have here, this is from about 2008, it must be. Same year as the third Cornetto trilogy movie. This Is the End. I thought this was quite funny. I really enjoyed this. Had a lot of laughs in it. Not watched it for a long, long time. I don't know how it would hold up now. I'm not... James Franco, James Franco, I know he's a bit of a creep. You know, the funny thing is, you know, I don't know why. James Franco seems creepy fella. And with what happened to him and what came out about him, it's very difficult for me to separate the art from the artist with James Franco. I'm usually quite good at that. I can do with Kevin Spacey. I can do it with that idiot in The Flash, Ezra Miller. But James Franco I struggle with for some reason. I don't know why. There we go. Next up. Now, I do believe that this does have a 4K release. I've still got this is the thing. I've still got the DVD in there. The unrated DVD. Is the 4K unrated? I don't know. Is this version unrated? I don't know. It's Team America. Durka. This was a funny film. It was funny. Now, I've never watched South Park. I have seen seen online. I've only ever seen maybe 1 or 2 scenes of South Park online, but the one that keeps coming up is when they're playing, what's the game where you turn the letters around? The game show. You know, and it's people who annoy you. And the answer is naggers. And, you know, everyone watching only thinks one other thing, and the character blurts out that one other thing. Very funny indeed. You know, sort of dark, wry humour there. Thought it was very funny. And this film's in a similar vein, obviously, because it's the same people. But I've never felt the need to go and watch South Park. I'm a Family Guy person, although Family Guy just isn't very funny anymore at all. That kind of lost its humour a long time ago. On occasion, it makes me laugh. I still watch it. Now, next 3 films, I'm not even going to bother with talking about, because they're not mine. I say next 3 films. I think there's actually 5 of them there. Yes, 5 of them. Bloody hell. These are not mine, honestly. No, they aren't mine. They're the wife's. Not even worth talking about. I've seen bits. My daughter watched them all she got through in about 2 days, and I was subjected to them on the TV. I saw bits and pieces. I wasn't paying no attention. Said I wasn't going to talk about them. You know, why would you CGI a baby? What? I don't know. Anyway, okay, the next 2 films. Now, I picked this up because of all the talk about how good they are and all this sort of film. And I kind of fell into that sort of, oh, okay, you know. And it's happened before. I can't believe that people done it with Blood and Honey. You know, that film about Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. It was crap. It was crap. It was rubbish. It was like one of the worst films I've ever seen, right? And I picked this up, and I've still got to watch them. And I'm going to put them in the watch pile, because seriously, I'm gonna see what all the rave is about these films. I know there's a 3rd one. I haven't picked the 3rd one up. I certainly wouldn't without watching these 2. What I do with these 2 after I watch them, I don't know. Horror doesn't really hit for me, and in that, I've got to question what, you know, yeah, I've got to get to them. I'm going to put them down there to get to them. Now, the next one is a film that I visit on occasion. You know, I watched it probably maybe 4 years back or something, and it is There's Something About Mary. Okay, funny film. Ben Stiller, you know, Matt Damon's funny in it. Cameron Diaz, it looks great. She does. She's great in it. It's very funny, but it's a comedy, and I just don't see the worth in upgrading a comedy to 4K. Like I always say, you know, it might look crisper, might have some nice, you know, the colours might be a bit richer, a bit deeper. I'm not going to laugh anymore at it. It's the same damn film. But anyway, moving on. Okay, so next up is Tarzan 3D. Inside is still sealed like that. I watched it a while ago, not this copy. I had a non I think I did have 3D copy, and I don't know if I gave it to Matt over Matt V's Movies, the 3D one, sent him it, and picked up a cheap one in Poundland to go in the slip. Yeah, I wouldn't upgrade it. Now this one here, I'm happy with this. I think this is a fantastic film. It's very good. John McTiernan movie. I couldn't appreciate it when it first came out, but I picked up this version here from 88 Films, and I watched the film and I loved it. I thought it was great. Thomas Crown Affair. Are they making a new version of this? Did I see rumours of that or hear something that they're doing another one? I think this one's perfect. I think this is a great film, you know. Poster in there from 8. I really like 88 Films as a label. I think 88 Films offers a really nice product overall in regards to special features, the film itself, the feature presentation, the fact you get a double thick slip. You know, you do get a poster or some cards or a booklet inside, and it's only maybe a couple of quid more, the Blu-ray, than a standard Blu-ray. I think they give you know, for me, this is one of the top sort of boutique-y type of labels, I think, seriously. But I'm very happy with that copy. I wouldn't need to upgrade that. Next up, comedy, Tag. Ed Helms, Jake Johnson, who I really like. He was in New Girl. He was the voice of Peter B. Parker in the Spider-Man animated films, Across the Spider-Verse. You know, Ed Helms from The Office. Jake Johnson from New Girl, like I said. Who else? We've got Isaac Fisher, Rashida Jones, John Hamm, Jeremy Renner in it. I think he broke his arms. He's having accidents, isn't he? Broke his arms doing this, falling off of some chairs, and gets run over by a snowplow. But there we go. Good luck to him. Third time unlucky, maybe. Who knows? But yeah, so I enjoyed this film. Thought it was funny. Thought it was good. Thought it was enjoyable. I wouldn't upgrade it. Last watch was when it came out. And I did watch this a few years ago, maybe 3 years back. And it's Trading Places. Now, I think Trading Places already has a 4K upgrade, if I am not mistaken. I don't think I am on that one. But I quite like these premium collections from HMV. You know, they're quite nice editions. I got the Fatal Attraction one over the 4K. 4K was due coming out. I knew it was coming out. I went for 2 for 15 on the HMV collection because, again, I don't think Fatal Attraction needs a 4K, not a film that's really worthy of a 4K in that sense. And the same goes for this. It's that comedy element. You know, I don't need to see that in a nicer picture quality. It's a funny film. Then we have another one, Them, with the giant ants. I like this era of sort of creature feature, these sort of, you know, 1950s kind of giant. I still need to get Tarantula. That's the one I have to look out for. Or did I pick that up? No, I might have that. I might have bought that, actually. I might have it around the corner. But yeah, Them. You know, it's got cards in there, still sealed, actually. I don't think I'd upgrade. I'm happy with these. I like these. I don't have many of the HMV collection. I'm not the type of person who collects a line of... I don't have to get everything 88 Films does. I don't have to get everything from the HMV collection. I didn't have to get... I got a lot of the Titans of Colt. I didn't have to get everything. You know, it's silly collect. I can't collect like that. I think that's silly collecting. Then we have the original Thing from Another World. And I think I probably picked this up with... No, Them I may have picked up with Trading Places. I can't remember. But again, you know, yeah, I wouldn't upgrade that film. Next is, okay, this don't really count. This is a streaming film, Triple Frontier. It's a bootleg, as is. I don't know why I got this one bootlegged. I do regret some bootlegs. I don't regret. Some bootlegs I do. But there we go. That's just the way it is. I can't even remember that. For Love Nor Money, I can't remember that film. Christ almighty. I would get not Totally Killer. Triple Frontier, if a Blu-ray came out, I would get it. I'd pick it up. So next up is Tin Man with Zooey Deschanel, which is a TV miniseries, I believe. You know, it's like a 3-hour thing. I wouldn't upgrade any of that at all. Not watched it since it came out. The Time Traveler's Wife, one that I need to watch. I picked up cheap in CEX, so I can't really say on that one. And then we have The Town, which was a great film. Very good film. Watched it maybe 4 years ago, something like that. Last watch. That being said, would I upgrade it? The answer's no. And then we have Megan Fox in Till Death. And I watched this when it came out. Picked it up from Germany, I believe. Yeah, you got the reversible sleeve art in there. Again, is it worth the upgrade? Definitely not. So let's move on. All right, so the next film that I've got here is my wife's film, and I'm going to be very controversial with what I say here and very un-PC. I picked it up for £1 for her. The Theory of Everything, starring Eddie Redmayne. Now Felicity Jones I like. I think she's pretty good. But Eddie Redmayne, I can't stand him. I can't, seriously. I know in this film he plays Stephen Hawking, who's crippled, who's in a wheelchair, who's, you know... But everything I see Eddie Redmayne in, he comes across as a retard. I know, such a bad word to use, but there we go, I don't care. He comes across as someone with special needs. That's what I get from him. That's what I get from his... Well, obviously in this, he has got special needs. He's Stephen Hawking. I mean, you know, Stephen Hawking, he's, you know, I don't know. I mean, it's no wonder he was quite clever, right, at the end of the day, because all the fella could do is sit around and think. You know, nothing else would work, so you build that up there. Anyway, moving on from that, you know, I love Les Miserables, but he's the one annoyance in it for me. I watched him in that very first Harry Potter spin-off film. Harry Potter is not a film series I've got in my collection at all and never have had. I think I had maybe the first and second one on DVD at the time, but that was it. That was for the kids. I tried watching the first one, couldn't get into it. But when Fantastic Beasts came around, because of the sort of Prohibition era setting of the film America, which I like that era of film, of that era of history in film, I thought I'd watch it. And again, Eddie Redmayne. And again, he I don't know, he played this character like he's got special needs or something. I don't know if that's what the character's meant to be like or what. And I was even having a discussion with someone about the TV show that Eddie Redmayne's recently done, The Jackal, Day of the Jackal. And that geezer was talking to me and he was saying, yeah, Eddie Redmayne's very sort of, I won't do the sort of, the actions that this fella done, but it was, you know, and I said, yeah, that's exactly what Eddie Redmayne's like. So, no upgrading. Now, I've not watched this film. I picked it up because I remember really loving it. And I remember having the old Clipper case DVD. And it's Three Kings. But I never got around to rewatching the movie. So, if a 4K was to come of that, again, I don't think I need to upgrade it because so much time has passed since I last watched the film that I'd have to rewatch the film again to see if it's worth the upgrade and then negate the need to pick it up because I've just watched it and I know that my next watch ain't going to be for some goddamn time. Training Day. Oh, £2.50. Good price. Good film. I believe this did get a 4K. Am I right? I let it go anyway. So it obviously doesn't need it for me. Bill Paxton was talking about earlier. Now, Bill Paxton he'd done one season of a Training Day TV series and they couldn't continue it because of his passing. There we go. And then we have £2.50, Troy, the director's cut. Now, I imagine that Troy would look great in 4K. I don't know if it's ever had one, or not, I can't say. But I'm happy with what I've got. And the watch of it, I ain't watched it since I picked it up. My last watch would have been on the DVD days. Now, interestingly, the next film I've actually got on 4K, I did actually upgrade it. Twister. So that's got to go into my double get rid of pile. There we go. Nicolas Cage, Tokarev. One of those Nicolas Cage films from that era of Paying Back the Taxman. I've yet to watch it, so I can't pass judgment. Now, this next one, and we've only got like half a dozen more to go. The next one is a bootleg, right? And I will tell you now that if this film came out tomorrow on 4K special collector's edition, which it won't because it's a Disney streaming film. But if it did, I would pick it up. I would pick it up because I think it's a damn fine film that not many people have seen, I'm guessing, that's now disappeared. Not off of this channel. I'm sure it's still on Disney Plus, but what I'm saying is in the consciousness of people, it would have vanished and disappeared, but not in mine. And it's going to go in my rewatch pile as well. Seriously. I'm giving that a rewatch soon. And the next one, I enjoyed this. Are they doing a sequel? And I would probably consider picking it up. I'll definitely pick it up if a proper release came, obviously. But I enjoyed it. Tomorrow War, I would, if a 4K was released, I might, well, I'd have to upgrade it anyway because it's a bootleg and I like it. I enjoyed it. So I would have to get it just out of principle in that sense, because it does bug me that I have bootlegs. Some I wouldn't upgrade, like that one I showed you before, which I obviously made an error of judgment. But this one here, I enjoyed it. It was a fun film. I'd consider it. Next up is Tom and Jerry the movie, still sealed. I did watch it. It was all right. I had fun with it. I don't mind Tom and Jerry cartoons. I do find it very outstretched. But yeah, anyway, but I wouldn't upgrade any more further than that. And These Final Hours, which is a German release. Yeah, it's a German release. Yeah. I don't know why I bought it. I haven't watched it. I'll be honest. I haven't watched it. I need to watch it. It's going in the watch pile to watch. And next up, this is an interesting one, right? Because I'm going to do that last. Next up is The Tiger. Foreign language film, obviously. Decent film. Enjoyed it. Very much so. Watched it a few years ago when I picked this up. No need to upgrade. So that'll go there. Now, the next one, I left this till last because I actually enjoy this film. And that's my boy. Now, Adam Sandler does make some, especially his Netflix movies, right? They're a load of rubbish. But then he makes some decent films. And then he makes just middle-of-the-road films that actually make me laugh. That I know I look at and I think this is, how did you even get it? Well, I know how you got the film made. You're quite rich, makes a lot of money, and he's just, I don't know. But anyway, anyone else wouldn't be able to get these films greenlit. I'm pretty sure of it. But Andy Samberg I like. He was in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And I watched this film, and again, I watched it ages ago when it first came out. Watched it, forgot about it, picked it up, watched it again, because I have a lot going on. My mind is always racing. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. And an Adam Sandler film, to me, this sort of an Adam Sandler film, is like a temporary lobotomy. Right? It gives me a chance to sit down. It quietens the brain somehow. I'm just indulged in his antics for hour and a half, 2 hours. And it has this sort of, this numbing effect to my mind. I don't know if that sounds good or not, but that's what it does. And so I enjoy watching Adam Sandler films at times for that very reason. It gives me this kind of, this sort of like just a temporary lobotomy. I feel temporarily lobotomized by Adam Sandler. So, okay, so there we go, okay? So, we've got a number of films there that we've looked at, and I don't know if I stuck them all down or if I've got some fed back up. I've got to have a quick look through. No. I'm just quickly looking through them, running through them again. Trading Places, Tag, Thomas Crown, Tarzan, something about Mary, Twilight, Team America, Tell me, someone who's got Team America in 4K, I can't remember. Is my Blu-ray there, the uncut edition? Is that the edition where you see the puppets crapping on one another, right? Or is it the cut version? Is the 4K version the cut version or that extended uncut version? Let me know in the comments down below, because that would be a factor in whether I'd pick it up. Okay, yeah. So Tron, I've put Tron back up there, but Tron 1 is one that I would very much consider an upgrade of. So there's quite a few. No, I say quite a few. There's about 7. No, I say that. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. But, you know, Tron I would consider. I have a lot of fun with these films, and I would probably very much upgrade them if Arrow done a very similar release in line with the other 2 Tremors films. Part of it is to keep that uniformity amongst it. I wouldn't go to the other 3 films after, but there's them. Okay, then we have Tomorrow War, but, you know, yeah, I know it's not going to happen. I'm not sure what I said about this earlier. I'd need to watch the film again. I need to watch the film again anyway, and I am. It's in a rewatch pile. I'm in 2 minds. I don't know that I would upgrade that. I'd very much consider that one there, True Grit, for definite. It's a good film, and it needs rewatching, definite. And then the other one is Togo. I don't care what sort of a release this would get, I would get it. This would be my top film here. If I could only pick one film out of them ones that I had to upgrade, it would be Togo. Give me a proper release of Togo, and I'll be a happy chappy. I'll sleep well at night. So there we go. There we have. What would I upgrade out of this lot? So let me know what you would upgrade. What would you upgrade anything here? Is there any films you feel that are worth the 4K upgrade before you get caught up in the upgrade wave of, you know, fear of missing out and all that kicking in and that? Yeah, I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below. I'll see you all on the next one.